And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. Today, we're going to be talking about NFL Week 6. Lots has happened, including the firing head coach Brian Callahan. Jeez, can't even get it out. Not going to have to say his name very much.
He didn't make much of an impact to have the name remembered that well.
Yeah, who cares? He stunk. He was complete ass. Titans fired their head coach. We're also going to talk a lot about the performances of 2 quarterbacks who look like they could win the MVP. We're going to get to a quarterback who is the complete opposite, the least valuable player for his team, that being Tua. Myles Garrett on some crazy nonsense after the game that they played awfully against the Steelers. And then lastly, the Chiefs with great on Sunday Night Football. Reminder, today's episode is presented to you by FanDuel. If you're going to be betting on NFL action for the rest of the season, whether it's Thursday Night Football, maybe you're watching this before Monday Night Football, go and bet on FanDuel if you've got a little bit of an inkling of a thought on how you think these games are going to pan out. All right. Callahan's done. Titans got rid of him. 4-19 record overall. 1-5 this season. Kind of bought himself time after the Cardinals win, but we all knew that wasn't enough to do anything. The timing of it was very funny because they clearly did not want to lose to Vrabel and for him to be the reason for it, which they absolutely were going to lose to Vrabel.
Yeah.
This is a move that needed to have happened a long time ago, and it feeds into the narrative that I always bring up when lame duck coaches are out there running teams into the ground. What is the point of giving a guy like Brian Callahan another season? What's the point of giving Brian Daboll another season? What's the point of giving Mike McDaniel another season when you know he's going to get fired? You're wasting a year, and the Titans have just done that with Cam Ward.
I think if I'm going to be suited for the number 1 overall pick in the NFL, I do a full-scale evaluation of everybody. I don't care about what the head coach at that time is saying. I really don't. If you were the coach that led me or were the coach that was sitting in as I was proceeding to get the number 1 overall pick, you are on the chopping block. I don't want to hear about, the old regime's out. Now it's time for me to set up my new stuff. No. Because Callahan was a disaster last year, even worse this year. And fans with bad teams and of bad teams, and I guess ownership also, doesn't take kindly to simple coaching mistakes. He was awful with the clock. He was awful with team discipline. The visible growth from the team and players that he had from last year to this year has been lacking. It was overdue. And are you going to step in and are the Titans going to rally back and make the playoffs? No, I'd make myself laugh thinking about that. But what they can do is start a 10-week long assessment of the real assets of player qualities that they want to take on with them for next year. You're probably likely going to run with Cam Ward for another season. It'll be bad. It'll be rough. It'll be ugly. Hopefully it's better. That is at least the launch point from here, October 13th, when Callahan fired, to the end of the season when they're out in early January. Hopefully we looked a little better than the first 6 weeks. I would expect them to, because they have been garbage to start this year.
And a lot of this, Rand Carthen kind of put together a pretty
didn't help.
roster. Yeah, this was one of those circumstances where it was the bad mix of roster construction and really bad coaching. And there's been a lot of people that have called into the competence of Callahan, if he was an actual capable coach, if he should have actually been given this job. Joe Burrow forever will be doing wonders for the careers of so many people because of how he has elevated teammates. He has elevated coaches. He bought Zach Taylor an awful lot of time, and Taylor might not be there for much longer. Callahan is exhibit A of I still don't really understand how Callahan got this job. Like, were we really that impressed by Joe Burrow's performance that we thought, you know what, that's all Brian Callahan. We need a piece of that. You should be going after, this is the thing, you got to go after the Brian Daboll type of a hire is one that is defendable in hindsight when it doesn't work out because He took the raw, toolsy, big athlete and turned him into an MVP. He is responsible for the version of Josh Allen that we see today. Just not meant to be a head coach, and there's a lot of other problems like doofus Joe Shane. But you can't take the guy who was the finished product, who was already playing at an elite level, and then go, we got to take his offensive coordinator. This is all because of everything that he's doing. I have a little bit of ability to understand the layers of this. This is a shit hire in hindsight by the Titans.
Real bad, and I think the layers is the important term here for this hire, whereas Vrabel was leaving, getting fired out of Tennessee. Massive mistake, critical mistake, terrible decision. He's a franchise coach, someone that could last at your team for 20 years, and the Titans gave up on him because they surrounded him with nothing and made bad moves around him. So they decide, well, here's our scapegoat, is big, hulking, strong, aggressive Mike Vrabel. And then the fallout, Joe, I don't know if you remember how detailed it was, but there were NFL execs that were talking about the intimidation of Mike Vrabel's presence as a coach and how it rubs the front office people the wrong way.
They brought in a goober.
And
they brought in a dumb goober.
They bring in a goober. They bring in a sap to counteract the toxicity of the Mike Vrabel regime, which was, I don't know, win in football. I guess that's what they did. And this is what you're left with. When you replace somebody that you might not agree with and their approach, but produces well for your team with someone that you agree with and that you can control, you get worse football. That's exactly what the Titans did. And then they have burned 20 games of fans' time and money and players' time, health, and money. It's been a total waste of a year plus.
Well, and the one problem that comes with this is now you wasted the year with Cam Ward when if you had brought in a guy right when you brought in the new front office and right when you drafted Cam Ward, this year would have been a foundation-laying season. It's the same shit that happened with Caleb Williams last year when they fired Eberflus. You get a foundation-laying season, the team gets to be shit, and you get to all kind of just sit there. The fans get to sit there and go, well, you know what? At least I know that this is building towards something. But instead, it gets canned, and now you got to start over. And as up and down as the Bears have been, and they've shown a little bit of promise, we'll find out tonight on a Monday Night Football, this is still a foundation-laying year. So you waste a year. This is the stupidest premise to me, and the dumbest fallacy that front offices and ownership groups have, where they think, let's just give it one more shot to see if there's anything left here. No, if the guy is not able to, I would love to know the track record of coaches who have a winning percentage sub. What's 4-19? What's that winning percentage?
That's quick math.
4 divided by 25.
Under 20%, I think.
4 divided by 25. 16%. So if you're sub 20% winning percentage, I would love to know if there is anyone in the history of the NFL that has gone on and turned themselves around. If anything, those guys that have winning percentages that bad, and this is pure speculation, that have gone on to be successful, was probably with other teams. To your point, though, that they wanted to get somebody who was less intimidating, so you brought in Goober Callahan. And there's the trope that's brought up with how owners go and hire the polar opposite of your last coach. I say they go and get Vontaze Burfict, who is a coach on the Arizona State coaching staff. You don't like that one?
I wasn't expecting it.
I was trying to think who's the most intimidating guy who's a coach right now, and I thought, Vontaze Burfict.
You know what surprised me right in your last statement was, I don't know what Brian Callahan sounds like. And that for me is a problem for a head coach. Like I am tuned in. I know every coach.
He's a snippy, whiny idiot. There's a lot of bad quotes of him just like getting really mad at the media for like him self-inflicted problems.
Yeah. If I don't know what your head coach really sounds like at a podium, he's not a good head coach. What's the head coach supposed to be? The leader of your entire team. Callahan was not that, is not that, but Tennessee now, it's hard to do the big sell of this is a landing point that you should be excited about, but they have some stuff. They have young quarterback Cam Ward. I'm not going to discuss the receivers. I'm not going to discuss the running back room. They have Jeffrey Simmons, L'Jarius Sneed, and then you got a lot of places to play with, and you can do some scouting and drafting to find a team that you like. It's bare bones. But they have an opportunity to maybe get a dude in here that can get the most out of Cam Ward and primarily get the most out of the team, because I think Cam Ward's a quarterback who in the NFL will operate if the team around him is kind of carrying the load and he can go back there, make some big plays, make some mistakes, kind of like how he did in Miami. Miami's team was good. Cam Ward at times was excellent and at times was an Achilles heel. Let him go do that in the NFL a little bit. I don't need him to be overly structured. I just need him to have some structure in Tennessee. There needs to be a heartbeat. There needs to be a tone change and not this Music City. We're in for the next era of Titans football. Yeehaw. No, get to football. Get to football. Put the fries in the bag. Make plays happen.
You know what I think cost him? He has a real shit chin. I can't get behind
Callahan?
a coat. Yeah, I can't. He's not big. He's not a fat guy or anything. If you're a big, like, there are plenty of coaches that are big and fat, but you still have a pronounced chin. Chins are a sign of good leadership, in my opinion. I think that he was, for a leaner, it was a little dumpy, kind of get the dad bod thing going, but he got a real like loserish low T chin. He got the kind of little hanging thing under it. It just wasn't pronounced. We need to go and hire somebody that's got a real chin. Cliff Kingsbury, good chin, good facial structure. I'm trying to think who else might fit.
Let me double back on this Kingsbury chin here.
He's got a pretty good chin. I think he's got a pretty good. Well, I would also Brian Flores, good chin.
I like
Brian Flores got a good chin.
I like the idea of Flores. I want him to get out of Minnesota before they crumble. Robert Saleh is one that I would enjoy in Tennessee. He is actually the Jets
All right,
are
I
so
put
bad
this
this
article
year.
away. That this is Marcus Freeman on it. I don't.
Oh yeah, I saw your article there. Yeah,
I don't need.
What do you mean? He could take a leap. I actually think that job's beneath him.
Yes.
I will never say that from a college coach to the NFL. I lean NFL 90% of the time. The Tennessee Titans job is worse than Notre Dame's.
No. If you're Marcus Freeman, you're only leaving for the NFL if it's the Chicago Bears. Legitimately was one that I was scared of because the Bears are a good brand and you have the opportunity to resurrect them. There are like 7 jobs in the NFL that I think are actually worth leaving college to go to the pros for. And it's very small because otherwise it's not worth the leap. It's not like a college where the top 25 programs are kind of in the same relative resource, grouping.
Yeah.
If you end up throwing yourself into the NFL thinking like, oh, I'm going to get all this control, it's a lot less control and there's a lot less money to be thrown around. So no, Marcus Freeman should not go to the Titans.
Oh yeah. I don't think he could really resurrect them either. They need somebody that is just, transformative, like genuinely transformative. Somebody that's at a point in their life where they don't give a damn anymore, and they're ready to turn a slapdick team in Nashville into a real contender again. That was Mike Vrabel. That was a guy that had the nuts to say, I'm going to turn this slop fest into something legitimate. Another name that's been floating around my noggin.
Just your noggin. This is not on the ether. You've just in your own little world.
There's been a guy that had some success in Tennessee and is having a little bit of success this year, which I was not expecting, that could make a homecoming. Maybe Arthur Smith.
Oh, shut up!
Gets in the
shut
mix.
Up!
Come on!
Shut up!
What's wrong with that?
Shut your mouth! Shut up!
Look, we can all kind of realize.
Imagine if that happened.
I think Tennessee Titans fans would be okay. I think they'd be decently okay with it. Now they need to draft a big horse in the backfield to be able to kind of do Derrick Henry.
Love.
That'd be nice. Oh, now that's a little tantalizing here. Cam Ward, Jeremiah Love, get a receiver, get a lineman. Now we got an offense, people. Let Arthur Smith come in and ruin it.
All right, let's move on to not hang on this too long. We got to talk about Baker Mayfield and the string of games that he is currently putting together. 5-1 on the year. He's got wins against Houston, San Francisco, now Atlanta, Seattle. We're not going to include New York in that impressive wins. He on the year has 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, 1 pick. And against the 49ers this week, it was even more impressive because they were able to accomplish this victory without Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Emeka Egbuka went down with an injury, and they didn't have Cody Mauch. The one thing that was really funny about this game, Tez Johnson, even though it might have been perceived as I hated him as a prospect, I just was wary that he wouldn't turn into like a go-to number 1 slot that some people were saying, oh, he's the next Tank Dell. He was going to be what he exactly was in this game. big play guy who every couple games is a really nice explosive play where he jukes somebody out of their shoes. But I love the whole bit where after the game he was talking about how he heard MVP chants after his touchdown. He's like, "Hey Shep, was that for me?" And Sterling Shepard told him, like, "No, man, that was for Baker."
Yeah. Hey. I mean,
Dude, why does Sterling Shepard have to ruin that for him? Dude, you did it. You did it, man. You're gonna win the MVP.
That is the wide receiver mentality. It just completely personified.
It's the Tez Johnson mentality.
No, that is. Yeah, I get a glimpse here. I get it, and then people think I'm the MVP. It's how they tweet. It's how they post. It's how they live. I think that there was a reasonable amount of skepticism around Tez Johnson going to the NFL. He's maybe the smallest NFL player I've ever seen. Like really, I know he's not the shortest. I know he's probably not the lightest, but short and light combined, I don't know a player that is smaller than him in recent memory. He is tiny, but man, he makes plays. It's just the Bucs being good. The Bucs just know exactly how they want to use people in their system, in their offense. And Baker Mayfield, biggest nuts in the NFL award, has to be, right? NFL's MVP is going to come down to him and probably Josh Allen and maybe Mahomes if they really start rolling through it. And those teams have real MVPs. And Baker, this is a one-off so far in his career of looking at him at his MVP level. There needs to be a nuts of the year trophy for him to have because the way that he plays is inspiring. It is an inspiring brand of football to see him will a team of hobbled vets to a victory against San Francisco who's scrapping and clawing. When do you see this? When do you see a quarterback say, "I'm going to put it on my back"? You know what you see? You see quarterbacks turning around, folding over for sacks. You see quarterbacks throwing Whopper Supremes in the fourth quarter for pick sixes, giving the game away. You see incompletions. You see the ball going before the sticks on a 3rd and long. Baker Mayfield says, "I would rather die before I do any of that bullshit. I'm going to run it. I will run into a freight train if it means getting a first down. I'm going to sit back here in a condensed pocket and launch this ball 60 yards and deliver it exactly in the right spot." I've never seen this flow state Baker where he just goes and goes and goes. It's impressive. The Bucs are legitimately Super Bowl contender in the NFC. Coming out of this week, Philly loaded their britches. I think the Bucs are the 1 seed in my opinion, and I would be hard pressed to take a challenge on it.
The only thing I just would caveat I would add, as exciting as they have been, we are just now entering October, and I have a strong feeling that the first week of November, we're going to be sitting here going, "How did all of these things change?" It happens every single year, and it's very.
Let me get excited, man.
It's very I thought, which is ironic for the doofus wearing all the Atlanta shit.
This is a mistake. The hat's a mistake. The sweatshirt's a mistake.
The hat's actually pretty cool. Where'd you get the hat?
AtlantaFalcons.com. Actually, they did their own release.
Never mind.
No, I didn't go.
I was going to string together an insult, and I couldn't come up with anything creative. I was going to say, "Did you get it from the doo-doo shit store?" That's all I came up with. That's not very creative.
Hey, you know what? On this show, that plays.
You know who's not doo-doo shit? It's Baker Mayfield. Look, Baker, though, is playing on an unreal level, and I think that it's one of those situations where we talk about this with the Heisman all the time, where like the Heisman moment, the big play that really resonates, and you just remember it in your head, the big throw, the throw that changes the game, the big run that sparked a victory that nobody expected, whatever it is, you look for those moments. For some reason with the MVP, we don't usually do that. I don't know if it's the sake of we have all these writers that don't really watch that many of the games outside of the teams that they cover, and they're just not as tapped in, and they just pick the guy with the best stats. That's the reason why we get some real shit voting when it comes to this. I don't know what the reality is, but if we're talking about Baker playing like a Heisman level guy, but in the NFL, that's exactly what he's doing. He's always been this guy, but he has needed the situation. And I think ultimately what has elevated Baker to the spot where he's playing to his potential is that he's got his confidence. And I think that this is the most confident version of Baker, the confident version of Baker that we saw when he won the Heisman Trophy when he was at Oklahoma.
Yeah, it looks like the same guy. That guy's back for sure. The fieriness, the talking with the fans, and not in a dickhead way, but in a "I'm out here to play football on your ass" way. I love it.
I'm about football in your ass?
On your ass.
Oh.
I bet he would if there was a field there. I bet he definitely would. Because he's a gamer, and it's nice to see. It's nice to see a dude that I didn't have a problem with coming out of college just get destroyed in his first 3 spots and build a legitimate career in Tampa Bay. And if you're a Browns fan, how do you even walk out of the house on a Monday morning? Like, how do you walk out of the house this season if you are sitting here with the quarterbacking and the team that you're fielding and watching Baker Mayfield finally take the next steps? It would have been a couple seasons with that defense. They couldn't be patient for another year and a half, another year. And then Cleveland might actually be legit, and they're not. And they're one of the worst teams in the league. I don't know. I'd probably quit my job. I'd probably get kicked out of my parents' house after moving back in. Like this loss would have got me kicked out of the basement. Mm-hmm. And then I'd be couch surfing for a couple weeks just because of what the Browns were doing to me.
I would hope that you'd have a little bit more mental fortitude than that.
Oh, I'm a Falcons fan, so I'm doing a little bit better.
You bring up the Browns, which the way that they're playing at the current moment is incredibly depressing. They are at a level where it doesn't even look like they have a direction. And we talked about this with the whole Flacco trade. It didn't make sense. Mike Tomlin even came out, talked about this a little bit, which is a very unexpected source to be chiming in on personnel moves. Dillon Gabriel, 52 passes, 221 yards in a 23-9 loss, which is just nutty that they couldn't move the ball more explosively than that with that many passing attempts. But this whole thing looks even stupider when we look at the fact that Myles Garrett after the game said, to lose the same way every time, it's frustrating as hell. A lot of people had this same point, and I'm not giving an original thought here, but I agree with it. Myles Garrett, you do not have room to complain when you signed up to stay for more money.
Are you new here?
If you wanted to go and win, you could have gotten traded. And honestly, Browns probably would have been better off trading Myles Garrett. This team wasn't going to be competitive right now. And all we saw, the way that he played against the Packers in their one unexpected victory so far this year, is that defensively, there is some talent, there's some youth, but if you got rid of Myles Garrett and you brought in some more draft picks for the next few years, that would be better for the future of this franchise. That would have made more sense than the Micah Parsons trade. That is a move that makes sense because this team doesn't have a quarterback, unlike the Cowboys, who do have a pretty solid offensive core. That is a completely separate issue that we're probably not even going to get to today. I think that this is very silly, this whole situation with the Browns. Nobody has a understanding of what reality is. Nobody.
Yeah.
This is like they're playing football in another dimension where they think that up means down and left means right.
Yeah, it's Ohio. It's not. It's
well,
not
doesn't
real.
Does it exist?
It doesn't exist.
Have you been to Ohio?
I have been to Ohio.
Are you sure you've been to Ohio?
I've partied in Ohio, and it actually is a different dimension. It's way more fun than you would expect it to be. And then you get out of that party and you look around, and it's Ohio, and you're like, whoa, okay.
Whoa. Quit talking down on Ohio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Find me some Ohio defenders for me.
They're going to be in the comments.
Sure.
Get his ass.
I'm intimidated. I'm quaking.
I'll send you our address.
You're going to leak it?
Yeah.
Oh, self-doxing.
I threaten to do a lot.
Yeah, Myles Garrett, that's a foolish statement to make. We all knew what was going to happen this year. I know deep down he knew it was going to happen this year. Taking it on the chin every single week and having to go up and answer to these reporters and try to be the hero that he tried to be, it's tough. He tried to be the Cleveland hero. He wanted to be the Browns LeBron and stick around and be the guy and be a guy that stayed on the one team for life. You should have got out, brother. You should have got out. Grass is greener than the Browns. So many other teams you would have.
You could say the grass is brown.
Yeah, you know what? He is. He's standing on a bunch of brown grass, weeds, half-grown dandelions, and you're looking over, and there's Pittsburgh with a lush green lawn. Baltimore's crap now, but also they could have gone to a ton of different places, actually had wins, and at least you wouldn't be losing the same way every time. Defense performs really well for a half. Offense shits the bed. Offense doesn't do anything in the second half. Defense eventually gets too tired to keep up, and then they lose. That is a frustrating way to lose. That is a death by 1,000 raindrops. And you will just sit there and you got to take the torture. You can do as much as you want. Myles Garrett can't do 3 pick sixes a game. He can't get 8 sacks a game. He can't do it all. It's a team that is underwhelming and has been underwhelming my entire lifetime. Why would you sign up for that? Have you seen the
You're
Browns?
from Ohio.
Have you ever, if you were playing make-believe,
why would you sign up to be from Ohio? What kind of a take is that?
if you were make-believe
The hot
in the
takes
NFL,
on the show today.
you would,
Leave Ohio.
would you ever consider the Browns? Would you ever consider them
No,
realistically?
but if you're from Cleveland and you have pride, people are prideful of where they're from. Saying the guy from Virginia wearing the Atlanta Falcons gear.
I love my Nationals. I love the Capitals, the Wizards.
But you don't like the commies.
I'm fine with the Washington team. I'm fine. I've tracked them my whole life. Where's Myles Garrett from? Is he from Ohio?
No, he's from Texas.
Oh, yeah, he should have.
He could have been on the
Should have
Cowboys.
gone to Houston. He should have gone to Dallas.
He wouldn't have fit in the Houston rotation. He could have gone to Dallas, though. I mean, if Jerry wants
Still
to fix
should go to
this
Dallas.
awful defense, he should use that. All the resources
draft
that
it,
they
yeah.
added from the Miles or the Micah Parsons trade. To backtrack a little bit, we were talking about MVP candidates. Seahawks right now are on a tear, and we got to respect the trajectory that Mike McDonald has this team on. Their loss to the Bucs, I don't think people realize, is a potential playoff precursor for what the Bucs versus the Seahawks could look like in due time. They outlasted the Jaguars, which you might not want to admit. Jaguars are a good team this year. They are a solid team. Shut up. Shut up.
They're
Respect
bad.
the
Why do you
Jaguars.
like the Jaguars?
Because I think that they're unique. They also got sick uniforms, so shut your
they have
mouth.
one set of sick uniforms, and then the rest are terrible.
I
Throwbacks
disagree.
are good.
I disagree. Sam Darnold had another MVP caliber game, despite his offense only putting up 20 points. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. Seahawks get 7 sacks on Trevor Lawrence. But we're starting to see more and more of Sam Darnold not just being a check down Charlie. He is airing out opposing teams. He's taking shots. He's making big time throws. Who would have thought that getting rid of Geno Smith would have made your team good? This had to have been one of the worst offseason takes that you saw from people that were jumping around saying, oh, why would you get rid of Geno? This is a lateral move. Even if it was a lateral move, you got a younger version of that player. But now on top of this, you have a younger version that's playing better.
He looks dialed, man. His deep ball looks good. I'm going to walk back some JSN slander that I had.
When have you had JSN?
You know what? I think I didn't trash him, but I didn't think that he was going to be
hate good football
a
players.
legit guy that was going to lead.
Loves
this
bad
receiving
football
attack.
players, hates good football
Man,
players.
he's good. He just gets open, and it's not like shake you out of your ankles, but he's just open every time. Darnold is solid. The Vikings are just a bunch of idiots, moron idiots, for letting this guy walk out on them. And now they're dealing with Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy, who's going to start. Guess what? Still don't know for week 7 for Minnesota who's going to be taking that pill in the backfield. Ridiculous endeavor there. Congrats to the Seahawks. You played the suckers in Vegas. You played the suckers in Minnesota, and you built yourself a squad. Walker and Charbonnet is a great underrated duo in the backfield. Defense playing better. I know the defense was had holes in it last year. It wasn't that stout. It's getting better. 7 sacks on that pitiful 7 sacks. 7 quarterback
I wonder
sacks.
if you got 7 sacks after the game.
I bet there was 11 having sex after this domination on the defensive side, getting home, getting some, because they just ran through the Jaguars, made them look like punks. I do that to Jacksonville, a 4-1 Jacksonville team, and then
Why do you hate them so much?
Because Trevor Lawrence.
What
is
did
bad.
they do to you?
Man, he's bad, and people try to tell me he's
Jacksonville
good.
is the most unhateable region in the country.
He throws.
They're not Los Angeles.
Man.
They're not Dallas. They're not a part of the country. They're not even New York. People from New York, as an individual from New York, and we're living in an apartment in Hoboken, we're the biggest assholes on the planet, and you have a problem with people from Jacksonville.
I don't have.
They're
Why
the
would I have?
nicest
I have
people.
no problem with people
But
from
you
Jacksonville.
have to have
by
some
the
sort
way.
of an issue with Jacksonville to
I
not
don't.
like the Jaguars. They're
I
not
have
even
an
a rival
issue-
of your team.
I have an issue with people telling me Trevor Lawrence is good. Because he's not.
He is good.
Yeah?
He's better than
What?
you give him credit. He's
You
young.
couldn't. It's his 5th year in the league, dude.
How old
He's
Sam
bad.
Darnold? How old Sam
He's
Darnold?
bad. Older than Lawrence.
Sam Darnold.
You can't
28
watch-
years old. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is 26 years old.
Oh, 26 and hasn't done dick all.
What were people saying about Sam Darnold when he was 26 years old?
Done for. And you know what? His first team gave up on him early. Then the second team gave up on him, as they should have.
All
he
the
was a
teams
bag
gave
of
up
shit
on him.
then. He was a bag of shit then. Trevor Lawrence is a bag of shit and can't get given up on to actually get better. They never bench him. He's always hurt. He throws tons of picks, and when he doesn't throw a pick, it's just because the DB dropped it. It's not like Lawrence just narrowly missed that one. It's, how did they drop that? That was a house call play, and the Jags get away with one. He's constantly putting the game in jeopardy. You watch a full Jaguars game, I dare you, and point out to me less than 5 plays where he didn't try to serve the game up on a platter, when he tried to give it away. The quarterback's not supposed to do that.
You know what this
guy
is?
Sucks.
You know what this is? I've figured it out. You hate guys that get hyped up as draft prospects. That's what it is. You don't.
I
like
believe
guys
him as a draft prospect. I thought he was the next coming.
I don't believe that.
The Clemson tape was solid.
You don't
Joe.
like Lenore Sellers either. You don't like the guys that are the most talented players. That's what it is. He is incredibly gifted. He's incredibly athletically gifted. That's what he's done.
Does he win a lot?
He doesn't have shit around him.
Has he won a lot?
He won a lot last year.
He's Markel Fultz then, to me. I am not a scout prospect grader, okay? I see what I see, and I say, oh, well, I guess when he proves something to me, I'll be a believer. I'm not investing a bunch of hope in these guys that I'm not seeing it in. That's how you come out looking like a jackass, and you're projecting lemons.
Well, me and Ryan look like jackasses all the time on purpose, so... you know who looks like a jackass right now? That's Tua.
Yeah.
Dude, this game was depressing to watch the end of it. They had a legit shot to win it. And I would actually argue the Dolphins are doing the thing that proves that it's completely cooked. And a lot of times people assume you're getting blown out every week. It means the franchise is in shambles, blah, blah, blah. It is 10 times worse when your team is in games and you're losing late, because it means that your team does not execute in the most important parts of the game. This is exactly the Scott Frost Nebraska bit where they kept losing all the close games, and people were saying, well, they keep losing all these one-score games, but you're losing. You're not winning games. You've got one win, and it's against the hapless shit-ass Jets. Tua after the game, and this is what's ridiculous, he decides to start pontificating and projecting and making all these statements. He says, I think it starts with leadership and helping articulate that for guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys. We're expecting this, and we getting that. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? You have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. There is a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make that mandatory? Do we not have to make that mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up. It starts with the little things like that. If you missed it, Deshaun Hamilton apparently came out and said that Tua has shown up late to meetings in the past.
The first meetings of the year consecutively.
Yeah, which is so ironic and so fitting. I also would like to bring up, there's an old, actually it's not old, it's like a recent JJ Watt tweet where he said, once you get to the player-only meeting stage, it's done. There's
Start planning your January vacations.
Yeah, there's no fixing this. You're already past the point that it's broken. You don't have player-only meetings if things are going well. I want to be very clear here. Tua talking like this and him playing the way that he's playing, if you fire Mike McDaniel, get rid of Tua as well. I don't know what Tua has done to warrant staying. If you're going to hate on a guy for not being good, Tua is the guy to hate on. Tua is the guy to hate on because he's not.
Yeah, he's rough.
He's done less with more than any quarterback in the NFL. And he's got a gigantic contract to go along with it.
He got real close to when you said Tua talking, if that you got close to the inverse. That made me nervous. Tua led Miami down the field in the fourth quarter for a touchdown to take the lead against the Chargers in this game. I'm going to mention that because it's about the only good thing he's done this year. And that's something that if you do and you are in the pressure cooker and you lead your offense down the field, win them the game, and then the defense gives it away with 43 seconds left, that would make me feel a certain type of way at the podium. I get why he did it. I can completely see the linear path of I got sold, and now I'm up at the podium, and I'm sure that people were being loud in the locker room after, man, we suck. And Tua was like, well, shit, maybe you guys came to the meetings. That would help. So I understand why you brought that up. You don't do that, though, and you don't do that as a quarterback. That is not what the quarterbacks do, and that means that he's feeling the heat. He knows that he's cooked. He knows his head coach is cooked. People are trying to tell me that Stephen Ross still believes in this McDaniel guy. Okay, I don't think so. Why would he? Where's the evidence? I'll wait here and sit patiently for someone to present to me why Stephen Ross would be optimistic about this coach in Miami or the quarterback for the most part. Quarterback has one shot to get out of it. Team still blows it. Yeah, team's done for. Team's cooked for the year. Maybe we're looking at now, how do we get ready for the draft next year? Do we have any guys with youth that we want to carry over? Or are we looking at what I believe would be a 3-year rebuild for Miami before they're even competent again? Took New England a little bit, but they're right back in the mix right now. How does Miami do that? Are they ready to commit 3 years of suck, swing and miss, hit your quarterback, and now you're playing ball? Or are you going to keep up the Tua charade and continue to pump in decent
what?
charade? You want me to say charade?
Yeah, charade.
Like the game?
What do you mean like the game of the same thing?
I pronounce it charade.
Just saying shit, man.
You're out here as a man pronouncing it charade?
What do you? Is that a feminine thing to do to pronounce words correctly?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I just know I would never pronounce it like that.
Look, as someone who has been through the Daniel Jones fallacy of we've invested too much and we got to get this thing to work. Just because you have a car that you've spent a lot of money fixing up does not mean that you need to keep driving it. You don't. Get out. If it's smoking, sell it to some other poor soul before it explodes. Seriously. Tua has had a couple of nice spurts of quality performances in his career. And you kind of have to dance around talking about how he has regressed because of the head injuries that he had. And I'm not implying that that's anything to be related to it, but at a certain point, it just doesn't make any sense why he's still a starting quarterback in the way that he's playing. He's not an elevator. He should be a backup for a team. He needs to take a break and take a step back because right now he's not doing enough.
Man, he'd be a great backup.
Yeah,
he'd be a tremendous backup. He'd immediately be the best backup in the league. He'd be an asset for a team. You got a team that quarterback's a little injured. God, put him in Cincinnati. Get him in Cincinnati next year.
I would
trade everything. Put T. Higgins in Miami. Bring Tua up, and then we're good. You don't have to pay T. You have a backup quarterback if Burrow goes down again, and then it seems like we got some harmony.
It's a good premise to trade for if you're a team with a chronically injured quarterback to trade for Tua and stick him on the bench and see if anything can be pulled out of that.
I'd trade for that dude right now. I'd honestly try to make a big dick starting quarterback play here. Get Tua on my team if I think I have a season worth saving.
Last thing, just quickly before we get out of here. Chiefs had a really solid performance against the Lions on Sunday Night Football. They won 30-17. Solid actually is kind of a very light way of putting it. It was a pretty dominant victory. Lions were coming off of a 4-game winning streak where they were averaging more than 40 points per game since their opening loss to the Packers. And we started to see the emergence of some of these weapons that hadn't actually lived up to their potential. Hollywood Brown, multi-touchdown game. Maybe as Rashee Rice re-enters the mix, this Chiefs team will return back to their normal expected level of dominance. It's one of those things where you talk about a historically good team is going to find its rhythm eventually.
Yeah, and it's not the Chiefs of old, which they always think that teams are just, if they're good, then they stay good forever. But it's in a different way. The Chiefs used to be so good that they used to be able to take off a couple weeks in the season, like at the end of November, early December. We're like, you know what? We're going to take it easy. We know we can just turn it on in the playoffs. Not anymore. They have 3 losses. They're going to start kicking into high gear this week. Rashee Rice gets back. I'm seeing a bigger workload from Kareem Hunt. We're seeing the offense find its real footing. Andy Reid's just so smart. I feel like he just treated this first 6 weeks as a like an experiment, just to see. Let me try this. Yeah. Let me try that. And then I know we have a true wide receiver 1 coming back in a little bit. And when that happens, I'll have the exact game plan, exactly how I want it. And they're just going to go.
Rashee Rice really their true number one wide receiver, though?
Yeah. Rashee put some good stuff on tape, man. That's why it was so disappointing with the offseason incident with the car, because when he was in the game, I mean, he's a wide receiver one, legitimately. Speed, his cuts, in and out of routes. What are you watching with him? Oh, he's fast. He's got sure hands. Rashee Rice is solid, man.
Is there a statistically dominant version of Rashee Rice that I don't know of?
Oh, he's good.
His best year in the NFL so far has been 2023, where he had 938 yards as a rookie. I mean, last year he only played 4 games. I mean, I think he's a good player. I think that you're acting like he's a.
Was he
in the
you
upper?
Think Worthy's better?
Yeah, I think Xavier Worthy has more potential than he does.
Tripping.
Well, Xavier Worthy would have been off to a great start if that big dumb Moose didn't run him over on the first game.
How about this? If a tight end hits you and you can't play for 4 weeks,
he weighs 160 pounds.
Then that's not a wide receiver one.
How about your big dumb
He's
idiot tight
player.
end who gets excuses for every big dumb idiot thing that he does?
Don't make me take the side of the big idiot here, because I don't want to.
Well, you are a big idiot, so of course you're going to take the side of your kind in this situation.
Xavier Worthy's a gadget player, a very good one, but he's a gadget.
There's plenty of gadget players. Tyreek Hill was a gadget player to start.
Tyreek Hill was a wide receiver one, though. It took him like a year.
He was a gadget player initially, and now he's played to his potential, or he played to his potential eventually, and then now Xavier Worthy has a chance to play to that potential.
Tyreek Hill was like 215 pounds.
Tyreek was never that heavy.
I'm not calling him heavy. I'm calling him brolic. Massive. Tyreek Hill is massive for how short he is and how fast he is.
He's listed at 191.
I think I've seen him at 215 before.
I don't know.
I'm near certain of it.
We're going to get out of here. At Joe DeLeone at Anderson Radio, at X City Pod. That was a little too loud. 201-834-4308. Call into the hack bag. We'll talk to you guys later.